Hey guys, David here and welcome to the Fit Pro Daily. This week is all about how to get started in the fitness industry. Whether you're looking to become a qualified personal trainer or you've just got qualified, this week is all about how to get the ball rolling, how to really hit the ground running so you can start making money from that qualification you've just paid all that money for. Today we're going to start the week off with a guest interview with Karl Muir coming on from the PT Mentor UK. Karl is going to come on and share with us everything and anything you need to know, from finding that right qualification to getting qualified, to the right paperwork, to the insurance, to finding your first place to work, to finding your first clients, to charging the right amount, to creating the perfect program, and everything else that you really need to really hit the ground running. But before we do dive into today's guest interview, don't forget to subscribe by clicking that big red button below. That way you'll never miss any future episodes and you'll always be able to check out these previous episodes just here. So let's dive straight into today's guest interview. Good afternoon, guys, and welcome to today's guest interview. Today we have Karl on. If you don't know who Karl is, Karl's a PT qualification genius. Is that something like that?
Well, we'll go for a PT course provider. We'll
PT
get rid of the genius.
And what we're going to talk about basically, if you've just qualified and you're brand new to the industry, we're going to cover some do's and don'ts to really help you get a head start in the game so you're not struggling around for the next 5 or 6 months, really not knowing where to get started. So we're going to cover those things. So welcome, Karl. How are things?
Yeah, good. Thank you. Yourself?
I'm very well, thank you. Although we just had some bad news here in Wales today.
I did see that.
2-week lockdown, which is not too bad, I don't think. Now they've shut everybody down. I don't think it's as bad as it could have been if they just closed some places down.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's dive in. So how did you get started in the fitness industry yourself?
So my journey into the fitness industry was almost 20 years ago. I was in a completely different industry. I was actually in the food and beverage industry. So I was working in pubs and restaurants. So I went from getting people overweight and unhealthy to I must have had a change of conscience and sort of went down the fitness route. Basically, a friend of a friend become a personal trainer, and I just recently found health and fitness myself. So I wasn't selling or eating or drinking stuff. I was selling, as in alcohol, burgers and chips, etc., in the pub and restaurant. So, like I said, friend of a friend, become personal trainer, and I thought that sounds an absolute amazing career. The route I'm sort of going down my own fitness journey, and here I am, still sticking at it almost 20 years later.
Nice. No, it's good. A lot of us have that kind of change in life. We go from one career to another for many different reasons. So you obviously qualified as a PT, like you said, about 20 years ago. How long were you PTing before you kind of got into be able to help create with PTs and so forth?
So when I was on my course, I'd done, obviously, because it was so long ago, there's two choices. It was Premier or YMCA. They're both classroom-based courses. The one that I chose was Premier, which was 3 months, Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, in a classroom. So I literally left the pub on the Friday, had the weekend off, went straight into a course on a Monday. And because I sort of used a bit of common sense, there was 15, 20 of us in a room. And I thought, we're all going to be finishing on exactly the same day, with the same idea of to go get a job. So I went to my local gym, which was David Lloyd, and said, look, can I come and work here for free on the weekends? I'm on my course still, but I'll come work for free. And luckily they actually had that sort of scheme in place, fitness motivator, they used to call them.
What a name.
Yeah, great name. So I sort of done that while I was on my course. When I was qualified after 3 months, again, luckily they had a full-time position for me. I was there for about 3 years, moved to a few other little gyms, like smaller, obviously going where the clients were, to sort of a more affluent area. And then sort of made my way up into management, which I didn't really like. So my whole fitness career from a gym instructor up to like a deputy club manager was about 8 years, 9 years. And then I've been delivering courses for the past 10 years.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So what was it that kind of made you actually want to step away from the PT? I know you went into the management side, but how come you didn't want to kind of just stay in the PT world itself?
Yeah, I think as you'll sort of probably discover in a second, I'm not one for keeping my mouth shut. So if I sort of see things are a problem in a gym, even as a gym instructor or personal trainer, I'd be sort of pointing out, oh, we should do this. We should move the treadmills over here and move that machine over there. And let's have a PT area over here. So I think they must have just got fed up with me making all these suggestions, and I sort of slowly just made my way up from like deputy gym manager to gym manager and so on. But when you sort of take those few extra steps into like a deputy club manager, the club that I was in was more of it was almost like a wedding venue with a few function rooms and a small gym. So I almost stepped well away from it. And at that point, I was like, no, look, I'm getting well away from the gym floor. So funny enough, I did try to go back into personal training, but when people were looking at my CV, they were sort of saying, look, you're at this level, why do you want to come back down to a PT? And I was like, well, I love personal training. So the way I deliver my courses now is all one-to-one. So I still get that sort of that sort of client feel with what I'm doing now, just like I did as a personal trainer. So, it's ideal now, really.
Yeah. Okay, that sounds good. So let's kind of dive into what the main thing that we want to talk about. So before they get qualified, say if somebody's listening or watching to this and you've decided they want to become a PT or they want to become a fitness instructor, where should they really start looking for courses, or what type of courses do people really need to do to be correctly qualified to teach or to instruct clients?
Yeah, so obviously the basic is your level 2 gym instructor, which, as it sort of says on the tin, that qualifies you to work in a gym. Even this week alone, I've had a debate with so many people that you should be able to teach classes at level 2, but unfortunately it's literally gym instructing. So not many gyms do have gym inductions anymore by a level 2 gym instructor like they used to. Good old fashioned, show you around the gym, here's your program, see you in 10 weeks time type thing. But that's sort of your basic entry level. As you know yourself, and probably the people you employ, that's not going to make you as much money as level 3 personal trainer. So it does come as a bolt on of level 2 gym instructor and level 3 personal training as one. Again, if you want to go down a group X route, you can do group X, but you still have to do the level 2 gym to work in a gym, level 3 PT to be PT.
Okay, yeah. So level 2 fitness instructor is a little bit different to level 2 group instructor.
Yeah.
Okay, because I think that's definitely an area most people kind of a little bit struggling with, especially if they do the level 2 gym instructor and then they want to try and maybe do boot camp or classes in church halls and stuff. I think it's
exactly.
They just kind of see it and read it and kind of decide on what they think it means. So somebody's just now qualified, they've done their level 2, they've done their level 3. What kind of insurance are they going to be needing to make sure that, again, they're protecting themselves as well as the clients?
Yeah, so you've got obviously public liability insurance. Obviously with that comes all your risk assessments. If you're going to be a self-employed PT in a gym, generally the gym would have their own insurance, but I always say, especially self-employed, get your own insurance just in case, because obviously we're not like America where everyone sues everyone left, right and centre, but obviously online you could give information that you may never even speak to that person, but they could take that information and do your home-based workout, for example, injure themselves and try and sue the pants off you. So there is insurance out there that covers you both in a gym, out of the gym, doing one-to-one sessions outside. And like you said, with anything, if they were to go down the group sort of route as well, just risk assess everything, whether it's a park, a hall, the gym itself. Again, you'd like to think, touch wood, most gyms and studios will have that. But I always say to my guys, make sure you've got it. Just, half an hour of paperwork, you're going to be covered.
Yeah. It's like that pack, especially if you're doing an outdoor session or something, you always take like that pack with you just in case just anybody from the council or anybody pops down. At least you've got it all there written. You've got your risk assessment, you've got the qualifications, you've got your insurance and everything like that.
Yeah. First aid kit in your boot as well.
Yeah. Don't forget all these other key things, accident report book and stuff. So somebody qualifies, they qualified today. How long are they technically qualified for, or do they need to keep doing additional trainings to make sure this qualification keeps going?
No, so they would be qualified for as long as there's no, annoyingly, not in the industry, there isn't anything where they would have to sort of reassess or requalify. But, unfortunately, that's what it is. But there is CPD courses out there. I think, as you probably know yourself from employing trainers over the years, I think the people that have got the passion are going to go on and do additional courses. They're going to last longer in the industry. It's scary to say that the average lifespan of, career span, not lifespan, don't worry. The average career span of a personal trainer is still only around about 2 years. And I think a lot of that comes down to, what you do. It's sort of like the marketing side just as much as the general knowledge. Some of the stuff that is on a course, like anatomy and physiology, don't use day in, day out. But the people skills that isn't really pushed as much, or the marketing, the sales, that's not pushed at all on a course, that's what's needed to succeed in the industry.
Definitely. Okay. So keeping with the previous point, if we do get into generating clients and so forth, somebody's done their qualification and maybe they want to do kettlebells or something that wasn't included in the level 3 course. Do they need to be or take additional qualifications to be able to teach different types of classes?
Yeah, so you've got additional courses. You've got stuff like kettlebells, TRX do their own one. You can do circuits. You can do a fairly new one called outdoor fitness instructor. Group X, again, if you want to go down that route. The Group X qualification, obviously used to be called ETM, has now got 2 pathways. So you do exercise to music and circuits in one, because not all studio-based classes want to be jumping around to music. I know I avoided that like the plague whenever I was asked to fill in for a course. I'd be like, let's do a circuit class instead. And they'd want to be doing their legs, bums and tums. I was like, no, that's not me. So there's that sort of 2 different pathways now. There's so many different courses that come. We've got mental health awareness that we do, pre and postnatal, children's fitness. Again, so many people think that where they've answered 1 or 2 questions on their level 2, level 3 course about pre and postnatal, that they can go and deliver that, but they can't. And it's a massive argument with insurance companies, because the insurance company turn around to you as the instructor and say, if your course covered it, you're insured. So you think, oh, yeah, there's a couple of questions on my course, and they'll just qualify you. They don't even ask for your certificates half the time. So just to cover your own back, I would definitely do additional courses.
Okay, nice. Yeah. So what if that was the case? Let's say you're working in one of these chain gyms and they ask you to cover, let's say, a kettlebell class, or let's say a postnatal class or something like that, and you don't have the qualifications. Would that employee be expected to maybe put you on the course to make sure you are qualified, or would you just say to them, you know what, we haven't done any of this, it's on you to tell them that you can't do it?
Yeah, I think from your point of view, and again, sort of going back to like the sort of sales and marketing side, it might be a case of, look, if they're saying, oh, it's £25, can you do this class today? Part of you's thinking, yeah, £25 for an hour's work, perfect. But then the moral side of you should be saying, I'm not qualified to teach that. Some companies will put you on courses, like the large chains might have sort of funding to put you through a pre and postnatal, a kettlebell course, whatever it may be. But again, for your own business, everyone's got to think outside the box. Even if you're working in a pure gym, for example, you still could build up a decent client base outside doing a kettlebell class, or a pre and postnatal clients. So I'd always, again, look to do additional courses. And that's not me from a sort of PT course provider point of view, but I'm not trying to sell anything at all. But again, it's just adding those strings to your bow, isn't it? Like,
yeah.
If you're in a gym and there's 10 instructors or 10 personal trainers, and you're the only one there with a pre and postnatal qualification, all those women at some point, you'd like to think, will be pre or postnatal at some point in their life. They're all going to be coming to you.
Yeah.
So you just sort of by niching down, you're going to get a better share of the market.
Okay, yeah. So let's just say somebody's just qualified. They can now do group exercise classes. They've booked a church hall or a community hall, and they're going to start doing these sessions. What type of music can they play? Do they need some special license to play music, or what's the deal there?
Yeah, so you definitely need your music license, which you can get online. There is royalty-free music as well. But I think it's just because you're using it as a business. I think if you or me were to go and sort of pitch up in a sports hall and start doing some aerobics just off our own back, no one's going to batter an eyelid. But as soon as you start making money from that class that's got the music, that's when you're potentially in trouble. Some qualifications, such as like Les Mills, they've got their own sort of branded music and Zumba, etc. So you have to do a music license through them. But then again, be careful because that probably doesn't allow you to go and play general music in that situation as well. So it's always with anything, isn't it? Like reading the small print. Again, I can't imagine that someone's going to come and knock on the hall door and go, "Oh, you're playing a bit of Drake." Worst case scenario, you're going to have to turn it off and sort of just shout at your participants. But it's one of those things, isn't it? For the sake of 20 quid a year or whatever it may be, it's just always worth covering your back.
Okay, so we've covered finding courses, getting qualified, make sure you got the right insurance, you got all the right paperwork. You're looking at doing additional CPDs to kind of keep you qualified or do additional things. Where do you now go to find clients? Do you go and work for somebody, or should you really just try and go it alone straight away?
I think in this day and age, everyone wants to have their own personal training business, which is amazing, and that's what you'd aspire to for sure. But I think sort of maybe being a bit old school, I'd say try and start off in a gym because you're going to see a lot more faces every single day. If you only have 2 or 3 clients outside, you're only dealing with 2 or 3 people. As you know yourself from working in a gym, you're going to be dealing with 2 or 3 people every 20 minutes. So you're going to have questions from fat loss, from muscle gain, from pre and postnatal. Obviously, you have to wash your hands of that. But they might have a bad back, a bad knee. They can't do a lat pull down properly. You're going to get so many different variations of questions that when you do go online or you do become a mobile personal trainer, 6 months, a year, 2 years down the line, whatever it may be, you can visualize those things because you've dealt with it over and over again. Like I was chatting to someone the other day who is an online personal trainer, but they had about 5 years in a gym. So when they're getting emails saying, "Oh, hi, when I'm doing a lat pull down, I really don't feel it in my back," straight away, because you've been in that situation day in, day out in a gym, you can visualize, well, you probably need to squeeze your shoulder blades back, like put them back towards you, retract them down more. But if you've not had that experience in a gym, you might be scratching your brain thinking, well, I'm telling them to do a lat pull down, why can't they just do a lat pull down like I've told them? So I personally think it's essential, not essential, but I think it's, I personally would have a few months at least in a gym just to get your feet in the door, train as many people, all different shapes and sizes as you can, while you're understanding what you want to be doing like 6 months, a year down the line.
Yeah, definitely. I'd 100% agree with that. So like you say, the people you're speaking to want to go online almost straight away. They've maybe kind of seen how successful other people have been online. They've done their qualification quickly and then they've tried to jump online.
Yeah.
The experience you miss. I know I didn't go and work for anybody else or work in the gym. I kind of went straight away into boot camps and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But you do miss out on so much if you haven't worked with a wide variety of people. You haven't used a wide variety of equipment as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's such a big difference between a single arm lat pull down compared to just a normal lat pull down. And these are the things, that's why people need to be out testing and trying and working with different type of clients to understand all these moves. Yeah.
No, definitely. And the thing is, like even yourself, like you said, if you went straight into a boot camp, odds are the first 1, 5, 10 even, you're probably learning as you went because like I said, you've not sort of dealt with those people before, and maybe you've gone in and thought, right, boot camp, I'm going to be shouting a lot, but then you soon realise, well, I've got to speak to that person over there on this level, got to speak to this person on that level, that person really wants to be pushed. But again, if you've sort of dealt with that day in, day out, you can adapt a little bit better, even from your tone as opposed to your exercise techniques. I think it's just that adaptation that's going to open it up a lot more in the long run for you.
These kind of what I was going to write about next, because like we've covered like getting qualified and getting started, and do you work for somebody else now or work for yourself? And something I write down here was people skills. it's amazing how much, like you say, the tone of voice, one person you really shout at, you scream at, and that's what gets the best out of them. Where somebody else, you just have a little really quiet word in their ear, and that's what gets them motivated. So until you've actually worked with this variety of people, it's really difficult to know how to properly motivate people. Some people, you just give them a thumbs up, and that is enough to give them that boost they need.
Yeah.
So somebody's decided to go by themselves. They don't want to work for anybody else. They want to do it by themselves. What type of services or programs do they need to run to maybe get themselves out there and get going, do you reckon?
Obviously, I'm sure we'll sort of talk about this in more in depth in a second, but you've got to have a niche market, and saying that you're a fat loss coach is not specific enough. I think at first everyone wants to capture every single client, because especially if you've either changed career, done a course, and day one you're technically a couple of grand's worth in debt because you've brought a course, you've left your job, so you might have a couple of months. I'd like to think people save up and at least have a couple of months of sort of income for the months that they're just starting out. But I always look at it as like, if you've paid £2,000 for a course, from day one of you starting your £2,000 in debt, if you've brought £500 of equipment and a website, etc., that's £2,500. So you've got to get yourself out there pretty quick. But just by going out there and shouting, I'm a personal trainer, you're not going to attract anyone. I think you've really got to sort of niche down, which again could come back to working in a gym's going to help with this, that you know who you want to work with. Because at first you might think, right, as a male, I want to target men between the age of 25 and 45 that want to increase muscle mass. That's a more specific target than just shouting out, I'm a personal trainer. But then if you don't enjoy that target market because you've never worked with them, the next month you might think, well, actually, now I want to help women who want to lose 2 stone of body fat in sort of a 6-month program, whatever. But then you sort of start, when you look at someone's Instagram or Facebook page, 1 minute they're talking to these people, then they're talking to these, then that didn't work, so then they're talking to these, and it just sort of becomes a bit messy. So I think at the point of like someone coming on board with us, one of the first things I ask them is, why do you want to be a personal trainer, and who is it you want to help? Obviously, I don't expect them to know that answer straight away, but it gets them thinking from day one of their course, oh my God, who do I want to work with? And generally they say, oh, I don't know, but I'm a mum and I'd love to help mums. Well, there you go. So you do have a rough idea. Let's just stretch that out a little bit and work with that as we go. By the time they finish their course, again, they don't have to exactly know who 100% they're targeting, but if they've got a 50, 60, 70% idea of this is the route I want to go down, again, while they're on their course, they can start making posts, making blog content, website content. So day one, it's like, ta-da, here I am. I'm the person that helps whatever. I think it's one of those sort of suck it and see things, isn't it? I think if you go out, I love the phrase, it's like a monkey with a machine gun. If you go out just spraying bullets everywhere, you might hit 1 or 2 people that you want to attract. But if you've got a laser scope sniper rifle, you're more likely to directly hit the person you're targeting. And that's where you'll know better than me, with the sort of the marketing side and the sales aspect of it, you've got to be clear in your clear in your advertising, and you're going to attract more people. It's a smaller target, but it's better than just shouting out, I'm a personal trainer.
Yeah. Like you say, it is, once you know who you want, you then start creating those stories, you start creating those reasons, you'll be able to resonate with people more, and your content needs to pull the people you want to work with in and push away the people you don't want to work with. So you're not wasting time saying to them that you can't work with them. They just know that you don't work with them, but you work with this specific person and you are the go-to person for that person. So
Exactly.
they've decided they want to work with, let's say, mums. Do they offer free sessions first, or would you get somebody straight into some sort of program?
I don't know what your opinion is on free sessions, but if you're good at what you do and you're good at your marketing and your message that you're getting out on social media, your website, your Instagram lives, Facebook, whatever it may be, if your message is good, you're going to get people approaching you and asking to work from you from day one.
Yeah.
If you're good at that and you're offering free sessions, you could be doing 10 free sessions a week. But if you're a mobile personal trainer, what sometimes they don't take into account is, right, I'm going to give away half an hour free session, but you've got to travel to them, which is 20 minutes each way. You've got to do that session, pack up, probably have a little chat about your services, 20 minutes back home, 20 minutes the other direction to go and do another free taster. So 2 hours worth of work has traveled into 4 hours because you're traveling here, there and everywhere. So if you're doing 2 of them a day, that's 40 hours a week potentially you're doing for free, where you could be honing your skills and designing programs, trying to contact more people on social media, sliding into DMs, etc., and trying to help people sitting in your laptop, as opposed to going out there and doing those free sessions. I think if it's in a gym and you're on the gym's time, then yeah, offer free services. Go up to people and go, oh, I see you're trying to do a squat. Can I just give you a quick couple of pointers? Strikes up a conversation. If you want to book in for a free session, come and hit me up when you finish your session. But I think as a mobile PT, I know people do it and they probably get business from it, but I'm not a massive fan of it, to be honest.
Yeah. Something that I've noticed that has worked well is not doing a free trial session, is doing maybe a half price, half a trial session. So people are not paying the full price for that session, but it's a half price, so it's cheaper for them. There's less of a commitment for them. And you're still getting paid. It's like you say, even if it's a half an hour session, it might take you an hour, half an hour to drive there, half an hour to drive home, and you have a 20-minute chat at the end. You could be closing in on 2 hours there. Okay, so next, they've got their target audience. They've kind of worked out on the program or service they want to do. How do they start collecting monies for this type of offer?
So obviously with regards to like packages and sort of setting your amount, obviously it does come down to where you're based in the country, because I'm just north of London, so I could easily travel into London, and you can say, oh, I'm £100 an hour PT because of the location. If you're like yourself, right out in the valleys, you're not going to be able to potentially charge as much. So always do your research, have a look at local gyms, what they're charging, have a look at local personal trainers, coaches, see what they're charging, and then come up with something you're happy with. Again, as a brand new PT, I see it all the time with my own students, despite me saying, this is what you need to do. I think it's that fear of day one on the job, right, I'm going to charge £45 an hour, and just getting yourself out there because it's your first client. There's something in your mind that sort of says, well, maybe I should just charge £20, £25 for this one because it's my first few. But if you've got to take into account your travel time, your planning time, the equipment that you've brought, the website that you've got, any apps that you use, social media time. You've got to take all that into account. That £45 isn't just you standing there barking orders, it's everything else that isn't seen. If you're going to be one of those trainers that says, right, Dave, I'm going to train you at Thursday, 10 o'clock in the morning, and I do not speak to you or interact with you any other time apart from that 1 hour, then yeah, £25 an hour isn't too bad a rate. But I'd like to think most people that are watching, listening to this, you're going to be texting, emailing, sending a newsletter, doing a few workout videos, have a bit of a community building up, and that's going to take time.
So how do people take payments now they've got a price in their
taking
head?
Payments. I would, Stripe is a good one. PayPal is similar to PayPal. You've got Stripe, PayPal. There's an app called Wave Apps, which you can send invoices. I always try and get my guys to do monthly bookings, because block sessions, if I say to you, Dave, right, here's 10 block sessions for 400 quid, I'll throw in 2 free. Generally seems to be the norm. But sometimes people don't put a time limit on them. So those 12 sessions, you could have one a month. So if I'm getting £400 off you once a year, that's rubbish. I want to be getting that off you every couple of months. So I always say to people, come up with some packages. I always say, excuse me, have like a digital package, like a DIY home workout routine that you can download, or you can send, if you're not sort of an IT whiz, you can send it to them on PDF or Word document. It's a 6-week, 8-week program they do at home on their own without you. Maybe charge like 60, 70 quid for that, because those people won't want your personal training, but they might still want something. Your PT, if you can do like one a week, if you base it around about £50 to incorporate some of the stuff like a Facebook group, newsletter, etc. So for £200 a month, they get one session a week, plus access to your private Facebook group. Just like you guys are in Dave's private Facebook group, that's going to take time and money to get all that together. So don't forget to charge for those things. And then you could have like your top package, which has got more added extras. But the way to take those payments, there's, what else is there? Go cardless, Stripe, Wave, PayPal, but try and get people onto a monthly direct debit, because when they're not using their sessions, you're not getting paid.
Exactly. Yeah, nice. And just to carry on from that, I definitely suggest anybody new again to have 2 bank accounts. One where all their money of the clients pays into, and then the second one's where you pay yourself. Otherwise, the accountants or your own self will shout at yourself for not managing your money correctly.
Yeah,
so
and just on that quickly, so many people do forget to pay themselves. Again, on the new level 3, there's now a business plan that you have to do.
Yeah.
And one of the questions is like, list all your expenses. And so many people put like flyers, laptop, whatever else, and they'll hand it in. And I'm like, oh, do you work for free? And they're like, what do you mean? I said, well, you haven't paid yourself according to your business plan for 6 months. But where do I pay that from? So the money that's coming in, you've got to pay yourself out of that. You're a sole trader, you're self-employed. But like you said, you've got to take that into account. You need to be paying yourself out of that money.
Yeah, that's massive for most people. Again, I didn't do it at the start either. Whatever was left over was what I got paid.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
then when those months came where you were too short or something, you have to do deals to get some quick cash in. It's never a good thing. So we've got our programs. We're starting taking payments. What kind of software do we need to start running programs? Specifically, maybe we're doing face-to-face stuff.
If you're doing face-to-face stuff, obviously some sort of basic accounting equipment, like we said, sort of carrying on from what we were just saying. But with regards to face-to-face, I don't think you're going to need that much. Again, I think so many people, when they first start out, they think, oh, I need to get this equipment, that equipment. Like you, if you're boot camp, for example, odds are you probably went out and brought loads of equipment because you thought, oh, I'm going to have this all singing, all dancing boot camp. But then hopefully it wasn't the case for you. You might only have 2 or 3 people turn up. But you've got 15 stations and they've all got a brand new shiny bit of kit. Why not start with a bodyweight circuit for your first couple of boot camps, get that built up just by you being you, interacting with your customers, building up their fitness levels. They're going to tell their friends. When their friends start paying you as well, oh, here's 50 quid for next month's boot camps. That's going to go and buy you a few secondhand kettlebells, and just sort of build it up as you go. With regards to actual equipment, digital equipment, I think, everyone's got a laptop. You'd like to think, even if it's in a cupboard that you don't use, just for basic emails, stuff like that. You can get a secondhand laptop if you need to go down that route. Your phone, obviously, we both know, and everyone listens to this, the things you can do on your phone this day and age, making myself sound really old there, is amazing. So anything you do to start out, record it, as in not sort of video record it, but like document it, try and see what works, what doesn't work, try and get some pictures, try and speak to your customers afterwards and say, look, you've been doing amazing past few weeks. Do you mind if I just grab a quick video with you and doing a client testimonial? Anything like that to start out with. But I think, again, going back to what I said before, if you're already £2,000 in debt from your course, if you think, right, I'm going to go and buy a new MacBook, all this shiny equipment, before you've even got your first client, you could be like £5,000 worth in the red. And your first package, you're not going to sell for £5,000. So you're going to be sort of chasing your tail all the time. I just think go in bare minimum, whether it's physical equipment, digital equipment, and just, get some clients going first.
You'd be surprised the amount of equipment you can get for free. And it's something I say to a lot of people when they want to start with Facebook ads. It's like, do I need these landing pages, these application forms and stuff? And it's like, no. Woofu, it's free. Google do an amazing desktop package with Google Sheets, Google Docs, and
Yeah.
PowerPoint presentations. There's loads of free stuff out there. So even if you're keeping your clients accountable by sending them online workouts, Google Sheets, get them to fill it in.
Yeah.
If you need to do presentations, Google has their own free software that does that. So you can do presentations for clients on nutrition or stretching or post-workout nutrition, literally loads of different stuff. But I think we've covered most of the things there that a new person would need to do to before they get started, to getting started, to then moving forwards. Is there anything else you think a new person should do or not do once they've suddenly become qualified?
I think sort of just adding to the Google thing, there's Google My Business as well. So obviously not everyone can go and set up a website straight away because again, it's a cost. So Google My Business and using all the Google Docs, like you just said yourself, that will help your Google page rank quite nicely.
Yeah.
So definitely look into that. It's free.
Google has a free website builder in Google My Business as well.
Yeah, exactly, which is amazing. But I think it's just sort of being clear. So especially with social media, so many sort of Instagram and Facebook pages don't always match up. So on Instagram, you might be called one thing and all your posts are saying, like, you know, sort of targeting your various like niche, but then for some reason people change it on Facebook. But again, they're two free tools that one can cross over to the other to get your message out there. So try and look at those sort of things and just building up an audience. Don't ever feel that no one's listening, because even if you start out today and in a couple of weeks' time you've only got 50 followers, doesn't matter. Just keep plugging away at it.
Just to point on that quickly, you would be surprised the amount of people who actually see your content and then reach out to you a month, 2 months, 6 months, a year, even like 3 or 4 years, and they say, I've been following your content ever since you started, and something you said the other day inspired me, and now I want to work with you. You would be surprised the amount of people that say that. Yeah.
Oh yes, and even it's same with face to face. Like one of my first clients at the gym, when I went there full time, I had to wait 3 months before I could personal train, because the gym manager at the time was really good and he wanted you to sort of make sure you're ready to be a personal trainer. It wasn't just like, there's a gym floor, you know, good luck. So at the time, as you can imagine, it was frustrating because it's like, I want to earn some money. But looking back, it was amazing. But that 3 months, I went around, spoke to people, built up that sort of client rapport. And even though people weren't there and then saying, oh, can I book some sessions? It's helping them, just like on social media, you're posting something out, you're going and speaking to someone, giving a few little hints and tips, leaving them to it, but then you go back the next day or the next day or the next day. And then after a little while, like you said, on social media, sometimes people don't even they don't even follow you, like, comment, but it doesn't mean they're not looking, because I always say to my students, if you can just help one person a day on social media, one new person every single day, that's 365 people a year you're helping. If you put them all into a room, that's a lot of people. You know, even if 10% of them turn around and want to work with you, again, that's a decent income.
Yeah. And like you say, posting on social media, a great thing for most people need to do is get a free Facebook group up and running. Once you've got people in that group, you should use it as like an incubator where you're providing content, value, they're getting to know you and like you and trust you. And then when they're ready, they'll finally reach out and say, you know what, Karl, can I have some help, please?
Yeah, definitely. And then sort of keep on that route, then you can have a paid group off the back of that. So then you can sort of incubate them, like you said, from the free group into your paid group, or from your free group into a paid PT client.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's sort of, it's just building those foundations now while you're starting out.
Nice. No, perfect. Thanks for your time. It's for people maybe then who's watching this who want to get qualified. Maybe they're not sure where to get started, or people that wanted to do additional courses. How can people find out a bit more about what it is you do and the type of offers and courses that you have?
Yeah, sure. So the website is theptmentor.uk. My sort of sales tactic with regards to my own Instagram is I help new and existing PTs grow their business through my Instagram page, because what I don't want to do is sell courses all the time. As you can imagine, posting every single day, you know, you're going to soon get bored of, do you want to do a PT course? Oh, same post as yesterday. So the route I go down is helping new and sort of potential personal trainers build their business. Because in that way, when someone says to a personal trainer, oh, who did you do your course with? Oh, I done it with so-and-so, but you should check out these guys because they actually help you with your business. So if you head over to instagram.com/the PT Mentor UK, you can also get some great hints and tips for your own business, or again, you can see what we can potentially help you with if you're not yet qualified.
Perfect. Karl, no, thank you for your time.
Okay, so that was Karl, and I really enjoyed doing that interview with him because I didn't really have to talk much. It was great to be able to ask him all these questions because this is what Karl literally does for a living. He helps get people qualified and helps them become a PT, and then gives them that insight they need to really get started and hit the ground running in this new industry. So definitely go back, take some notes, write down the things that we've just been talking about, and really give it a go if you're brand new to the fitness industry. If you're also new, don't forget to come and check out our free group on Facebook. It's called Fit Pro Lead Gen with Dave, where on a daily basis we share these vlogs, daily insights, tips and tricks, and all kinds of additional content. I'll speak to you all tomorrow. Cheers.